This week on In the Field, the smaller, intimate landscapes in the bigger scene. Hi everyone, I'm Scott Davenport and welcome to In the Field. Thanks very much for joining me, and before we start, really quick note, I have a San Diego Coastlines photo workshop coming up. It's in April of this year, and if registration's not open already, it will be very, very soon. So pop over to the website, check it out, hope you'll be able to join me. Today's shoot is in Torrey Pines, the Torrey Pines State Beach, and this is a more subdued segment of San Diego's coast. There are, very dramatic cliff faces that come right up to the coastline, but the ocean itself, and as far as rock formations in the water, they're really not there. It's much more. There's nice, pebbles. I'll call them pebbles. They're really relatively large pebbles along the beach. A few lifeguard towers that make for some interesting things. But it's a great place to find more intimate landscapes, other than the big dramatic scene. So let me show you where Torrey Pines is on the maps, and then a little bit of footage from this shoot. Here is San Diego downtown, and the Torrey Pines State Beach is right along this stretch of coast here. Let me zoom in here just a bit, and flip this over to the satellite mode. So we can see, let me get a little bit north of the golf course is a nice section of the beach. And as you can see, as I go into 3D here, the cliffs themselves abut right up against the beach, but there's not the jagged coastlines there, but there are, you can see the larger rocks here that form more of a protective barrier, but lots of smaller rocks all through here. And looking out on the ocean, there just becomes effective nothingness. But it's a great place to get some more intimate landscapes.
It's a cool, very crisp January morning on Torrey Pines State Beach. And there is not much happening in the sky. There's a very large wall of clouds you can kind of start to see there. As the lifeguard tower comes in, you can see that wall rising just shy of its roof. And so that's telling me I'm going to be seeking out not so much a grand, beautiful sunrise, but more intimate landscapes and maybe some abstracts with patterns in the water. As the waves rise and fall against, I'll call them pebbles, but on average, each one of these stones is about the size of my fist. The waves are making some really cool patterns, and then as they recede, they make some even more interesting fissures as the water weaves in and out between the rocks. And it actually makes this really soothing, almost sounds like popcorn or a fire crackling as it rolls back, which is pretty darn cool. But these are going to make some very interesting shots. I'm just trying to find spots on the land where the curves of the beach make sections of land appear in between crests of waves and curves of water.
I spent a lot of my time photographing the water as it washed in and out over the pebbles, and catching it as it was weaving between the rocks and leaving some foam behind. And a few of the pebbles themselves made for interesting subjects. One other thing that I didn't show on the video, but the sky was very gray, but there was hints of texture in the sky. So there were overlapping layers of clouds. And I took a few photos of just that, just the clouds, nothing else in place. And those are good for textures. Those are good for blending in with other images that need some type of extra feel in either the sky or certain subjects. So when you're out and you're shooting and you might happen to see a boring sky, if there's a little bit of texture in it, grab a couple of shots of the sky too. So the tip of the week is to find the intimate landscape within the grander landscape before us. I don't know if micro-landscape is a term, but that's kind of what comes to mind. Using Torrey Pines as an example, you're standing on the beach, the beach is laying out before you, there's lots of stones and pebbles, and this vast ocean extends into seemingly infinity. But just looking down and focusing on the pebbles and the rocks, or the pattern, the line, the leading line of the shoreline as it winds its way north to south, that becomes a landscape in and of itself, and almost just a world within the world. So look for those opportunities when you're out shooting. That is it for this week in the field. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, tell a friend. Let me know that you're enjoying these. Comments are always welcomed, and +1 social shares, all that stuff is great. If you're enjoying the content and haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. And I'd love to hear from you. I love getting your questions. And if you have a question, contact me through my website. That's the best bet. I'll make sure it gets to me, and I will do my very best to turn around and answer to you quickly. Until next time, my name is Scott Davenport. Happy shooting.